Football is awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, how you guys doing? Another weekly edition of the podcast. Crazy weekend in college football. Crazier weekend even in the NFL. I'm your host, Ernest E. Christian. We're going to dive all into that today, of course. Power rankings of Mikey B coming up in a little bit. Student game report, of course, of Kyle Nash in just a second as well, too. And then, of course, EJ versus Degenerate. Me and Zack go at it again. But, man, there's just so much to touch on in what it relates to football right now, college or the pros. It doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do here, because obviously there's a lot of space for this today, I'm going to give my best and worst of the weekend that I saw fit. Because there was so much you could talk about in terms of, what happened this weekend. It was a nutty weekend. First off, too, also, before we get to that, I'm back writing on Substack. As I said, we relaunched Substack, earnestspeaking.substack.com. I actually brought back, after 5 years, my Burning 7, the 7 takeaways from this weekend, from both the NFL and college football. I'm hoping I'm gonna keep doing this every single Monday. Now, look, I put out today on Tuesday/Wednesday, what do you call it? But it will be a Monday thing. I put out, right after the Sunday night game's over, hopefully. But we'll see if I can stay consistent with it. Obviously, my schedule, we'll see how that works out. But I'm really going to try. Like I said, I miss writing. So after 5 years of bringing back the Burning 7 and whatnot. So, and I'm writing on Substack in general right now. So, okay. So let me give you. I laid out. I could have gone many ways with this, but I laid out 5 things on each side on the best and the worst. Okay. So let's get the good news out the way first. Okay, the good things first. That's fairly easy. The best of the weekend for me, and I honestly, this is all NFL because the college football was so nutty. And I'll be honest with you, I missed a good portion of college football this weekend because I was at my brother's and future sister-in-law's baby shower this weekend, which took up a lot of my time. I actually had on the Alabama game on, but once things started ratcheting up, family stuff, I had to focus on the family. But it was a nutty college football weekend. Texas nearly beat Alabama. Then all the upsets. Florida lost, and to Kentucky, and Wisconsin lost, and all Texas A&M lost, and all these things that happened. 2 weeks in, some odd games in, we're already having a nutty college football season, which I love. I love it. Shake things up a little bit. But because it's week 1 in the NFL, we know overreactions are a thing, and obviously we'll dive into that too later on in the podcast. Here's my best from the weekend. Okay, my best, and it started on Thursday night. The Buffalo Bills. All the fears that we had about this team coming into the year, all the fears. If what we saw Thursday was a sign of things to come, whew, the Bills were probably the right move to make the Super Bowl favorites. Okay, how about you walk into the stadium of the defending Super Bowl champions? Okay, now granted, you turn the ball over 4 times anyway, but you still win that game by 21 points. That's insane. So the Buffalo Bills were the best, part of my best of the weekend for me this weekend. They look like the best team in football. Obviously, that reflect my power rankings. So newsflash, they're number 1. I'm going to put it out there. They're number 1, I'm sure. The next thing that was the best of the weekend is the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, all the talk about the Chiefs this year, all the talk about how, the things, they make 6 step back. I even said so myself on, do my previews, over the summer. And, obviously losing, Tyreek Hill and all that, could have took a step back, this and that. Patrick Mahomes, we'll see. This is a big year for him. Arizona, for the record, not a bad team. Obviously, they don't have DeAndre Hopkins, but not a bad team still. Still a good roster. And Kansas City just destroys them on the road. Okay? It reminded me, in watching Mahomes, throw 5 touchdowns in that game, it reminded me of the time when I first saw Patrick Mahomes. When he came, not the, remember, he was actually in his second year when he got the starting job in 2018. But it reminded me of when he first came to the league, and when he first really came onto the scene and started destroying folks from the word go. That's the kind of vibe I got watching him on Sunday. I was like, whoa, this Chiefs team may have gotten their wake up call. Because remember last year was kind of weird. They had the 12-5 number 2 seed, but portion of the year they were struggling and whatnot. The offense hit or miss here and there, But man, if this is probably Buffalo and Kansas City right now. It's their world right now. We're just living in it. The third thing that was the best of the weekend for me was Lamar Jackson. Obviously, we know the Ravens and Lamar did not come to an agreement on a new contract. Obviously, guaranteed money is an issue. Yes, I know it's the Jets, but man, Lamar looked great, and not just with the obviously running the ball, but throwing the football at a tremendous place. And by the way, guys, can we please stop with the whole Lamar can't throw the ball? Watch the game on Sunday. Watch the film, please. Lamar could throw the fucking rock. Stop. Let's stop with the bullshit. Okay, Lamar could throw the damn rock. Pay that guy. I know obviously there's a lot of worriness that to pay him because of the fact that his style may not suit long-term success for the franchise. There's a risk there, obviously. But look, when Lamar is your quarterback, you are a Super Bowl contender immediately, no matter what team he has. And for the record, it's not like the Ravens has had some really good teams through the years, but Lamar's done much more than Kyler Murray. He's done as much as Watson, Deshaun Watson. If not, I dare say probably a little more consistent. So at the same time, he deserves to get paid. I get the complications, I get it, but he deserves to get paid regardless. The fourth thing for me that I loved from the weekend, and this is obviously close to my heart, is Big Dick Daboll. Brian Daboll. Great coaching performance, debut with my New York Giants. Going for two, having the balls to go for two when the Giants were about to tie the game. They're down one. They scored a touchdown late in the game. Instead of going for an extra point to tie the game and probably go to overtime, who knows? Daboll says go for two. They convert the conversion. Granted, the Giants almost blew the game anyway because but of course Randy Bullock of the Tennessee Titans missed the field goal. But I just love the energy, of that call. I'll say it now. I was watching the game, my wife, and I told her I want to go for it because here's the reason why I defended going for it. You're a bad team anyway. You have nothing to lose. You have Tennessee on the ropes. Fuck it. Just go for it, man. Just go for it. Win this game. You have them on the ropes. And if you saw all weekend long, P18's on guarantee anyway. So why not? And Saquon was on a roll. Okay. So Saquon Barkley should also deserve to be on this list too, of the best of the weekend. Saquon Barkley. And for the record, we talk about Saquon and obviously the narrative about him, of course. They're about him not being good. When he's on the field, he's productive. He's one of the best backs in the league. When he's on the field, which is not very common, But if he's on the field, the Giants could rack up some good wins here, especially the next couple of weeks with everything going on with injuries and whatnot. But Brian Daboll, to me, gets my best of this weekend as well, too. And finally, number 5, I got to say it, Geno Smith, Monday Night Football. Geno Smith was absolutely incredible last night in the Seahawks win over the returning Russell Wilson, returning the Broncos. Now, I don't know if Geno can sustain this. I was always a big Geno guy come out of college, and then, of course, he failed with the Jets, went to the Giants and all that. He's not a bad backup, obviously. I am very curious, though, how good he'll be as a starting quarterback going forward. I want to see. I want to see exactly, could he stay consistent with this? I mean, Seattle, obviously, it was an emotional game last night, with Russ being back and the crowd's into it. But let's see this, if Geno could be, consistent in week 7, week 6. This is a golden opportunity for the Seahawks and for Geno Smith to really try to really lock in the starting job. He's been back over the last couple of years now, so he knows the system. But we'll see what happens there. I'm actually very curious of the Seahawks. They win the game last night, especially. I'm very curious to see how this team can respond, because right now they're in first place. Every team in the division but them lost this weekend, so they got a leg up on the division now. Just saying. Okay, so here we go. The worst of the weekend for me. Number 1, the Dallas Cowboys. Man, this is gonna be rough. I went through the schedule too. Now, obviously, Dak Prescott's gonna be out for the listed 6 to 8 weeks. Just saw a report before I came on here recording that Jerry Jones will not put him on IR because he believes he could be back in 4 weeks. We'll see how that turns out. Obviously, Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones. Doesn't say that. But even before Dak got hurt, they look like crap. I mean, the defense, honestly, the 19-3 loss to Tampa Bay could have been a lot worse if it was for the defense than Michael Parsons. But Dallas, they look, they look just like lifeless. And the thing is, too, is that I don't know if it was necessarily because of quality opponent, but even so, you got to show up, man. I mean, Dak didn't look good even before he got hurt. So we'll see. The schedule is fairly, here's the thing. Could Connor Rush get the job done? One start last year. Now, granted, that one start was on Sunday Football last year against Minnesota, and he won that game. Can he hold the fourth down? I don't know. I mean, can they go 500 and so that gets back in a NFC that's wide open, really, at the middle? Maybe. But we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, we'll see if it's 6-8 weeks, if it's 4 weeks, we'll see with Dak's injuries. But the offense has got to get creative, got to get together. All right. Second thing that I hated this weekend, was the worst of the weekend, to say, I think we're seeing the implosion of the New England Patriots. And you're gonna see a surprise on my power rankings this week. They just look uncreative, lifeless. The offense just looks it looks terrible. And I said this too over the summer, that one of the reasons I was not very high on the Patriots, especially this season, was that I think the big loss for them was Josh McDaniel. Him going to the Raiders. And I just don't know if the Patriots can, as good as Bill Belichick is, and he's obviously, greatest of all time, and I'm still sticking to that. If this is what we're going to see moving forward for the Patriots, I'm not convinced this is not Belichick's last year in New England, and not because he'll get fired. I'm just curious if he wanted to keep doing this, And spare me all the Tom Brady Belichick comparisons. That doesn't matter. Who's winning the marriage? Obviously, if you look at it from that angle, Brady's winning because he won a Super Bowl, yes. But I still believe that one without the other does not work out. Bottom line. The Pats, we waited decades for this, but the Pats are finally, in my opinion, where people who can't stand them are happy to be where they're at now on the bottom. Mac Jones did not look good, and he got hurt this weekend, although they say he should be okay for week 2, but back injuries are a bitch. Just saying. Third thing I hated this weekend, special teams across the league. Special teams have been horrible this weekend. Look at that Bengals-Steelers game. Look at that Colts game. Look at that. Look at the all the games this weekend that missed PATs, punts, and all that. Oh my God, fumbles, and it's crazy. Yeah, I get that a lot of it is because of the way preseason now is the way we do preseason these days. The way stars don't play as much during that time. They cut training camps and practices are cut in half. I still defend that, but you're seeing the other side of that coin now. That teams now come in unprepared. This is why week 1 is weird. This is why the Lions were also very low this weekend, because Vegas didn't want to. They weren't sure if teams were ready, and a lot of teams, a lot of upsets, a lot of people, teams that were going to get upset this weekend. Looking at you, Atlanta Falcons, which is number 4 on my worst of the weekend. You had that game won against the Saints. You had that game under back. And by the way, and this should be up 14 points in that game, or 13 points, whatever the hell it was. You also left points on the field. A stupid Marcus Mariota fumble where you guys are deep into Saints territory. That cost you the game also, too. For a team that is not expected to do much this year, man, you lost a golden opportunity to at least steal a win against their rival. Against your biggest rival, actually, in the Saints. Which, by the way, the Saints, I watching that game, I'm like, I know it's 1 week, I'm going to overreact to that, but again, all the people talk about the Saints being higher and Peter King saying the number 1 seed in the NFC, I don't see it. I still don't see it 1 weekend. I don't see it. I don't get it. I really, really, really don't. And finally, my last thing, and I say this best for last. The worst, and this is probably the worst. No, probably my ass. This is the worst of the weekend for me. Nathanial Hackett, coach of the Denver Broncos. What in the fuck was that? That last minute of that game against Denver. What the fuck was that? You literally take a quarterback or trade for a quarterback who's top 10 in the league, in my opinion, still. Okay? Also leads the league in fourth quarter comebacks in the last decade. Okay? And you decide not only to have horrible clock management, which is somebody tweeted yesterday to me that it was poor management. No, it wasn't poor management. It was stupidity. and then decide that the best option for your team to win is to go for a 64 fucking yard field goal. I don't get that. That makes no fucking sense. I'm watching the game. I'm like, you have Russell Wilson. This is not Connor Rush as your quarterback. And you're sitting there milking the clock to set for a 60-plus yard field goal with Russell Wilson as your quarterback, who, and by the way, Russell Wilson had a fantastic game last night. 340 yards, very efficient game. In addition to the fact that the Broncos running backs can't hold the ball for shit, 2 fumbles on the goal line. Broncos won that game. Let's be clear. So all the Seahawks fans are happy about that. Take the win. Obviously happy. Seattle should not have won that game last night. But again, you lost the game. You won the game because of a dumb coach. First game of his career, and you look so unprepared in Nathaniel Hackett. That was probably the worst coaching sequence in a span of a minute I think I've ever seen in my life. Terrible job by Nathaniel Hackett. So, but guess what? Despite that, football is still awesome. Let's get the power rankings. Then let's do the game report. And of course, EJ was Degenerate on the back end of the podcast. So I'm here. EJ Chris on Twitter, of course, and this podcast on our Streaking Podcast feed. And let's go to Mikey B. Here we go. Football's awesome. Power rankings time. Week number 2 with Mikey B. Chaos abounds us. Not just in college, but also in NFL too. It's crazy. What's up, bud?
Long snappers' lives matter.
They sure do. Special teams matter too, especially.
It's the whole reason why we're 0-1. Clark Harris doesn't get hurt.
Bengals fan, yes.
Fucking Evan McPherson has an extra point that the snap gets fucked up, a snap in overtime where the snap gets fucked up. Yeah, no. Not looking for the convenient excuse. We'll talk about Cincinnati in a few minutes because they're still in my top 10, but we'll talk.
Yeah. And here's the thing also with the AFC. If we believe the AFC is good as it is on paper, a lot of teams, I know it's really early and everybody's overreacting and this and that, and I get all that. But
week one overreaction week of the year, baby. Let's go. It's like
but again, but the thing, if certain things come down to like a tiebreaker, comes down to a division title or one seed, and it was one loss, you look at these games this week again. Like if you're the Denver Broncos,
Indianapolis with the tie, Denver with the loss,
right? If you're Denver and you miss the playoffs, I'm going back to week 1, and that Nathaniel Hackett. Just saying.
I'll tell you this much: they were in my top 10 last week. They have plummeted in my rankings, and it's not anything that the players did, but the guy calling the plays. It's the same problem you have with the Chargers.
Yeah.
Don't trust Brandon Staley. I don't trust
Nathaniel Hackett. He's on my list too. Absolutely. All right, so let's get to the sad 5 first, as we always do. The sad 5, 28 to 30, not 35, dummy, 32.
Close enough.
It says 28, 30, 32, 34, 35. Anyway. All right, so let's go from top to worst, better to worst, when I call it. 28, who do you got?
Tennessee Titans.
Whoa.
Dude, that offense is not good.
Well, look.
It's a Derrick Henry show, and if you can stop the run, good luck throwing it to fucking whoever the fuck they
We're not surprised they lost the game. We're not surprised the Giants covered the spread. What do you call it? But, yeah.
That team is not good.
I'm not there yet, though, but here's a team that, unless you were, if you're my age, 42 years old, they were probably in this area, obviously, they were in this area probably back in the early 90s. It's been decades. Doing Patriots, I'm 28.
I didn't have them free falling as much because that Dolphin defense was on a whole nother level. And let's talk about this while we bring up New England. They never perform well in September games in the state of Florida.
Right.
Never. Not surprised.
My problem is that the defense looks actually decent.
Yes.
The offense looks uninspiring. I believe this is the year I think we're here now. This is the year they implode for the first time in decades.
Well, I mean, they also don't really have a number 1 wide receiver.
And whose fault is that?
General manager.
Exactly. So That's their fault. I mean, there were options out there.
Absolutely. No, it's absolutely their fault. I'm just saying. There's
29. Who you got?
How do you tie week 1? Give me Houston.
Okay. Houston should have won that game. They were up 14.
And that's why they're 29, because they're Houston. How do you tie that game? You were literally fucking rolling.
Well, they moved up for you, obviously, right?
Yeah, they went from 32 because the other teams that are below them fucking played like dog shit.
Yeah. 29 is the Jaguars, and they did come back, but
I'm actually inspired by the way Jacksonville played that game. I'm not as much on the negativity train as you are.
Right. I almost put them up a little higher than this, but 29 is the Jaguars.
Of course, I have them out of the bottom 5.
Okay. 30.
Another team that would have been up if they would have not have shit themselves. The Atlanta Falcons.
Okay. 30 for me was Houston. Again, they moved up though, but you win that game, you're not in probably the bottom 5.
Yeah, I mean, if Atlanta holds on against New Orleans, they're probably not in the bottom 5 for me.
And that's where I got Atlanta at 31, because if you hold on against the Saints, I mean, most of that game you were not a bottom 5 team, and then you return to be a bottom 5 team because of the way you close that game out, and that points on the board on top of that. So 31 for me is the Falcons. 31 for you.
How do you let Devin Duvernay have 2 touchdown catches? Give me the fucking Jets.
Ooh, that high, huh?
They're not good.
Oh, they're not good. I got them 32, actually. I got them 32, actually.
My 32 is going to surprise everybody.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. You know what we say week 1 is early reaction week?
You doing it?
How about them Cowboys?
Wow.
They are not good, and their best player is hurt. They are not good.
I want to think that a lot of it, too, is also...
Rush? What? You better trade for Jimmy Garoppolo yesterday. It's the only shot you have of fucking making the playoffs, because you're not doing it with Cooper Big Time Rush.
You know, part of me wants to think it's the opponent, because if it wasn't for that defense, that 19-3 loss is actually a lot worse.
They lose by 35 if they're playing the Chargers.
Possibly.
They get their doors blown the fuck off of them.
Let me just say, they were considered bottom 5 too as well. I would not put them 32, but
32. They're not good. Their fucking number 1 fucking quarterback is out for at least 4 weeks, and Jerry Jones is like, we're not going to put him on injured reserve because you might come back. What, when you're 0-5? Here's the thing. Ezekiel Elliott didn't do anything to move the fucking chains. Tony Pollard should be the running back one.
Right.
There. That's obvious. But CeeDee Lamb's going to take a hit. Dalton Schultz is going to take a hit. Fucking, they still don't have a true number 2 wide receiver there now because fucking, Amari Cooper's in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. That team's not good. The defense is okay. It held serve against Brady and those guys, but what's their next 4 games? What's their stretch coming up that makes me believe that they're going to be better than the Arizona Cardinals, the Seattle Seahawks, the New York Giants of the world?
Well, they're playing Cincinnati this week. That's a loss. The Giants week after that, possibly a loss. The Commanders.
Loss.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
0-4, and Dak's coming back after having his right thumb surgically repaired. No, this team is in shambles. There's pressing the panic button, and then there's like, oh, fuck, we are fucked. And this is the oh, fuck, we are fucked. Like, yeah. I get it. When you guys listen to this show, and Big Jim, I love you to death, buddy. You know, I know you're going to listen to this. I know you're going to send me a text message and basically, fuck you, Mikey.
No, he's going to agree probably, though.
They're not good. That's the problem.
He's talking 0-17 already, bud. But
I'm aware of that because that's in question without Dak Prescott a quarterback.
But Jim is also a little more dramatic than most when it comes to the Cowboys. Again, his Twitter feed in September is like a fucking EKG.
I understand that, but the problem is the one bright point they had, the one thing that was going to help build that offense, is now benched for the next 4 to 8 weeks. And when he comes back, he's throwing with fucking more metal in his hand than the $6 million man.
Right.
It's not a good combination.
Look, I'll tell you what though, if they look like trash this week, they're definitely in the bottom 5.
Trade for Jimmy G now. It's your only chance of fucking being a playoff team. Because if you get Jimmy G to come in, he plays week 3 hypothetically. Because even if you trade him now, he's probably not ready for Cincinnati.
Right.
Trade for him now. He's ready for week 3 against 2 teams in the division that you can then beat and at least keep the divisional tiebreakers alive if you're a team that sneaks in with a 9-8 record and have to win a tiebreaker against Philadelphia or somebody like that down the stretch.
Right. All right, let's get to it now. By the way, I saw a report on which report that Jimmy G, the Niners list of offers for quarterback for Jimmy G.
So. Just like in reality, Carolina should listen to offers for Sam Darnold, even though he's hurt right now, because eventually he's going to be healthy.
Yeah, I agree. All right, here we go. Top 10. Number 10. Who you got?
I wanted to put them lower, but I couldn't tell myself to find a team to put ahead of them. God, he has no fucking receiving help. Give me Green Bay.
They're gone. My top 10.
I fought so hard trying to find a way to put somebody ahead of them. But the teams that so I based my rankings off of where I had them the week prior. I had Green Bay at 6, okay? Philadelphia won, they're obviously moved up. But Tampa won, so they moved up. But Denver lost, Dallas lost, Vegas lost, the Colts tied. The Chiefs are in the top 10. I can't tell myself to move like the Dolphins from 16 to 10. They did play well, but
no. I feel you.
I'm just saying I couldn't move enough chess pieces. But if these receivers don't figure it out, this team's in a hell of a lot of fucking problems.
Yeah. 10 for me, I went Vegas. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, it's a loss, but the Charter. I'm actually a little. Is it wrong for me to say that I'm a little disappointed in the Chargers this week, even though they won the game? That I wanted to see the kind of like put the game away. I know his opponent. I don't know.
I'm more disappointed in Vegas.
Okay.
You knew that Devontae and Derek Carr were going to have that great chemistry, that they were going to put up a shit ton of points, obviously.
Right.
Didn't get Waller involved, didn't get Renfro involved. The run game was kind of suspect. To win this division, it's going to be a bloodbath. Like, you're going to have to get those guys involved because eventually teams are going to double and triple cover fucking Devontae Adams until.
Right.
So, I'm more upset the fact that they didn't spread the ball around more from a game perspective. I don't care. Obviously, they don't care about fantasy football either. You know, yes, I have Darren Waller in a league. Yes, I have Devontae Adams in a league. I'm saying from a football perspective, to win football games, you have to get those other guys involved so that you can then let Devontae run free.
Right. Yeah. I thought Vegas almost came back and won the game. They were in position to win the game.
No, they played really well. But that's one of those things where late in the game, if you had gotten Renfro and Waller involved, you may be able to get Devontae on single coverage, and you might be able to make a play happen.
Right.
It didn't happen.
All right, number 9.
The best wide receiver in the National Football League right now, Jay Jetta and the Minnesota Vikings.
Ooh.
That guy's a fucking animal.
He is an animal. 9 for me is the Philadelphia Eagles.
I have them higher.
I mean, my concern to the Eagles, I mean, they went at one spot, but my concern to the Eagles more so is the secondary. You know, Jared Goff kind of,
but
things at the end of the game. But yeah,
they really turned it up. Detroit did,
late
after there was a big lead. I know a lot of teams let off the gas, especially week 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think if that's a game that, playoff game like that, like they step on the throat, they keep the fucking first team out there for as long as possible, and then it doesn't matter.
Right. So I don't know, but Eagles they clearly in my opinion, have the distance to win the division. And if you look at the schedule and who they're playing this year,
well, now that Dak Prescott's out, the only real challenge they had in the division took a fucking major hit. Yeah,
and you look at their schedule too, especially like the number 1 seed could be in play here for them too. Look at their schedule.
Oh, absolutely.
They play in the NFC North. They play in the AFC South.
Yeah, no, the only team
and then their own division.
The only team outside of their division that you're really like petulantly scared of it right now is Minnesota.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, and they play next Monday. The same, so that's a huge game. Number 8.
Long snappers' lives matter. I think that Joe Burrow had a really bad start to his Super Bowl slumping season, as people like to call it. Cincinnati. Left too many points on the field and gave too many points away. Can't do that in the division. Kudos where kudos is due to Mitchell Trubisky. But, Joe Burrow handed them that game with that pick 6 to Minka Fitzpatrick.
You mean Mitchell Trubisky?
Trubisky.
Trubisky. We're making that new thing.
I mean, to be honest with you, the offensive line after like the second drive looked better. Yes, Joe ended up being sacked 4 or 5 times. But that's what happens when TJ Watt's on the field. You know, it's the same thing as Tom Brady got sacked a bunch, and everyone was worried about the Buccaneers' offensive line. There's a guy on the field named Micah fucking Parsons who's really fucking good.
That dude is
and he had a
fucking
bunch of sacks.
animal.
That's what I'm saying. If you take TJ Watt off the field and Joe Burrow gets sacked 2 or 3 times, it's okay. But TJ Watt's on the field, he gets sacked 6 or 7 times. You're like, wow, it's fucking TJ Watt.
Yeah. You actually didn't think a lot harder than I did. Wow. That's your team.
I had him at 3, so I dropped 5 spots.
So did I. I have him at 3 too. 8 for me is the Chargers. Like I said, I wanted to see them fucking put the foot on the throat of the Raiders. That's what I was looking to see. They were in the control of that game most of the way, and then they almost blew the game. I wanted to see them put the foot on. Okay, everybody's high on the Chargers. Is it this team's the best roster in football? Blah blah blah. And granted, yes, the Raiders are a good team, but if you're up 24,
doesn't help that Keenan Allen goes out midway through the fucking first half with a fucking injury.
Yeah, but I just wanted to see him put the foot on the throat. I didn't get that yet. But look, they won the game. They're top 10. You know, so they moved up anyway for my rankings. So 8 for me is the Chargers. Number 7 for you. Who you got?
This team enters my top 10 for the first time in 2022. Give me Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
They're back.
Okay. I'm not going that far. I'm not going that far.
Considering him at 13 last week, I'm not gonna give you shit for this.
Arizona, not good. Their offense is god awful. No DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray running for his life. Hollywood Brown got open a couple times in that game where you were like, what the fuck is Kansas City doing? But here's the thing. They still don't have Tyreek Hill. Marquez Valdez-Scantling had a good game. Juju Smith-Schuster fumbled a ball where the guy sneezed on him. That's a playoff game. If that's a game in the division and it's a fucking 7-point game, like Mahomes may murder him on the field. You know, I feel like they were up by 35.
I feel like this Thursday's game, if they win going away as well, they may actually change their mind.
Who do they have this Thursday?
The Chargers.
If they win that game, you can say they're back. If they lose that game by less than 7, you can say they're back. But, you know, if they get blown out the water, like, I don't necessarily know that we can say that they're back because they're actually going to play. We're going to play a good secondary this week.
Right.
That's the goal here for Kansas City is keep this game close the entire way.
Huge game. Can't wait to watch on Thursday. Number 7 for me is the Pay That Man Baltimore Ravens. Yes, the Jets.
I had them a lot higher in the regulars in my first one. So
they were number 9 or 10 of mine. I think it was somewhere there. They moved up a little bit on my list. Yes, it's the Jets. We got that, but Lamar threw the fucking rock with ease on Sunday. He looks like an MVP leader already. And I know again it's the Jets, but you know.
I have my choice for MVP.
Number 6 you got.
Who knew that Ryan Succop could score more points than Tom Brady?
Give me the Buccaneers.
Yeah. They got to find a way to finish some fucking drives. Like, seriously. Like, they want to be a Super Bowl contender. They got to find a way to finish drives. But they did their job. They won the game that they were supposed to win on the road in Dallas to start the regular season. Mm-hmm. But damn, dude, if they don't find a way to start finishing, they're in trouble.
They could be. I do think that we not giving enough credit to the Cowboys defense, though, also, too.
No, 100%. 100%. They played their asses off. Dallas' defense played their ass off.
Yeah.
If Dallas is playing, if Tampa's playing anybody else and leaves that many points on the field, though, they're probably losing that game.
Tampa's one of the few.
They do that against Buffalo. They do that against the Rams. They do that against the Chargers, even the Eagles, where it's like we have to keep settling for field goals. Probably losing that game.
Tampa's one of the few teams in the league that has a little more leash because of the success they've had in the last couple of years. So I'm going to give them some time to, get things in order.
I mean, they went up 2 spots even with not being able to.
Right.
I'm not saying anything negative against Tampa Bay. I'm just saying in a pinch where you have to win that game for playoff implications or something like that, they cannot do what they did on Monday night. They have to find a way to finish.
Oh, I agree. 100%. 100%. 6 for me is, like you said, the Vikings. Again, if I think, look, Green Bay may not be as big trouble as we think they are, but I might be there ready. The Minnesota's win the division.
Here's the thing.
I might be there.
The best part about their schedule is Kirk Cousins doesn't have a lot of fucking primetime games.
Just 2. One is next week.
So cool when they go
so they can get out of the way.
And their only 2 losses are fucking the fucking primetime games. Then we can talk about how bad Kirk Cousins can only play at 1 o'clock on a Sunday.
Right, exactly. But yeah, Minnesota looks by far the most complete team in that division, obviously. All right, 5 for you. Who do you got?
Eagles, Eagles.
Oh, you went high. Ooh, okay.
I had him at 7.
That's
so
true.
I moved him up 2 spots. So
you're going based on your last week.
I'm going based off of last week. They looked good. The offense got it going after the first drive. Yes, they let the Lions score points, but that Lions offense isn't as bad as people think they are. I have the Lions still as a playoff team as of right now. The fact that they were able to score and score effectively, defense got involved. A.J. Brown got involved. The run game got involved with both Kenneth Gainwell and Miles Sanders. This team was clicking on all cylinders, and I'm okay with giving up 28 points. You got to score. You have to score to win in this league. That's no questions about it. Jalen Hurts looked pretty good. Devontae Smith looked okay. They got everybody involved, so I like where Philadelphia is right now as a cohesive unit.
Right. 5 for me is your Bengals. They should have won.
Let's stop bullshitting. They gave the game away. Joe Burrow had fucking 4 turnovers.
They did everything they could to lose that game, and then they still had the game won with a PAT on the most basic of plays. I'm not worried about the Bengals going forward.
I'm worried if they don't fucking hire a fucking long snapper because
yeah, but also
if not, you're just going to see Zack Taylor do this a lot this year.
I do think once again though we don't give credit to those divisional games with the Steelers. No matter how bad they are, they always come out and play.
Personally, 100% personally, you knew that your fucking long snapper was out. You had the game tied. I'd have went for 2.
You mean like my G-Man? Yeah.
No, I'm saying because what's the worst that can happen? You go to overtime.
Right.
You don't have to let Matt go out there and try to.
That's true.
That's very true. One of those things where, I get it. Oh, take the extra point. It's not a chip shot anymore. It's 30 plus yards.
30 yards, yeah.
Blocked. I mean, they blocked the extra point. That wasn't a shank by Evan. Yes, the snap sucked, but that let time get there. They still blocked that kick. At the end of the day, go for 2. What's the worst that could happen? Fucking Joe throws it out of the end zone. We go to overtime and hopefully score.
Right. 4.
Go Chargers, go.
Well, you hired me. Jeez, they hired me.
Only up 1 spot from last week though.
Okay.
I had them at 5. They're up at 4 this week because of the Cincinnati drop. I love what I saw out of them. I think that the defense does need to step it up against big-time wide receivers. And maybe this is the fact that Asante Samuel Jr. is still a young cornerback in the NFL. But at times he looked good against Devontae Adams, and at times he looked really bad against Devontae Adams. So I think we just got to figure out from a Charger perspective, is the defense going to be able to do enough to where Justin Herbert isn't going to have to score 50 points a game? Right.
All right. 4 for me is the Rams, the champs. They play way back on Thursday, of course. I don't want to dig them this bad just yet because, again, quality opponent.
For the record, I have the Rams at 3, so we can just talk about the Rams.
Yeah, exactly. So I want them to let's see what happens at week 2 and beyond, and we'll.
I dropped them 2 spots, and this is the same conversation that I had about the Las Vegas Raiders. Matthew Stafford knows what he's getting from Cooper Kupp, so he got the ball to Cooper Kupp a lot. But he didn't get Higbee involved. He didn't get Allen Robinson involved. Sean McVay, for some reason, has a death wish upon every fantasy football owner in football by not letting Cam Akers run the football and then him saying, I want more of a push from Cam Akers. Yeah. How can he push if he's not on the field, you moron? I'm sorry. For a guy who just won a Super Bowl, I think he's still hungover. Down 2 spots. If they play that Bills team the same way in January, that might be the first Super Bowl I turn off at halftime.
Yeah, Buffalo turned ball 4 times. They still won that game, went away. It's crazy. You said 3 was for you was the Rams. 3 for me is the Buccaneers. Again, I get the concerns. But again, this team deserves a little more leash. It is Tom Brady, and of course, Tom Brady with the 7 rings. I'm going to give him a lot of leash because he earned that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's what it is for me. I'm not going to defend this. It is what it is. 2.
I know it was the goddamn Jets, but fuck me, dude. How is he throwing 3 touchdowns to Devin Duvernay and fucking Rashad Bateman? Up 2 spots. Give me the Ravens.
Boy.
My under of 950 rushing yards would like to thank the Jets for fucking being so bad that they let him throw the ball for fucking 225 yards and only run for 17. So I appreciate you, Jets. Keep sucking so I can win some more bets. Baltimore cooked on all cylinders, 100%, 100 miles an hour. They didn't really miss much. So yeah, thumbs up to Baltimore on that one. I'm good with Baltimore in my top 2.
2, I went to the Chiefs. I told you.
You had him a lot higher than
I had him at 4, I think, last week.
That's what I'm saying. So you had him a lot higher. I moved him from 13 to 7, so I jumped him up 6 spots. I couldn't tell myself.
And if we're doing a 1-game sample, and granted, I'm not sitting there saying that 1-game samples don't mean anything because they don't mean anything. It's right now, to me, it's a 2-team race and everybody else. It's Buffalo and KC and everybody else right now, based on 1 week. We'll see how next week goes, obviously.
I would say I would make it a 3-team race because Baltimore is in that because, like I said, I know they played a really bad Jets team, but they still were able to put up points and were able to move the football effectively.
Right. And finally, I mean, this is going to be – you did 2 already, you said, right? So,
yeah.
2 is Baltimore. Number 1's easy, of course. The Super Bowl favorites right now.
Wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Dude, and I'm telling you guys right now, people who forget this, if Buffalo gets home field advantage through this year, good luck.
The real question here that I have, and this is more of a general question to anyone in the lumber and maybe lumber companies. If I decided to buy a table, is there a table shortage? Because I'm expecting Bill's Mafia to jump through every table on God's green earth between now and January because they're going to fucking run through everybody.
Yes. Home Depot, Lowe's.
They literally might be that team where, like, and I'm going to say this out loud, and that's okay. Dolphin fans, you might want to be worried about 72.
Think so.
Dude, they took a fucking defense that has the best defensive player in football in it, turned the ball over 4 times, and still found a way to blow them out of the water.
I don't know if I go that far, but I told you 14-3 bottom. So
hold on. Let's take a gander here. Let me
look at the schedule real quick.
Let me bring up the schedule because I don't necessarily know that they're playing like they play us. Like that's a game that
is that in Cincy?
I don't know if it's in Cincinnati or not.
All right, I'll run down right now. I got Titans at home next week. That's a win.
Miami,
I'm gonna say to win.
In
Baltimore, toughie, 50-50 maybe. We'll see. That could be one of the slip-ups there. Steelers at home, it's a win. At Chiefs.
That's the game. If they're going to lose a game in the first half of their schedule, it's that one.
Yeah. Packers at home, win. Jets on the road, win. Minnesota at home, win.
I think they beat Minnesota.
Right. Browns at home, win. At Lions.
Thanksgiving Day at Detroit, fucking blow them out of the water.
Yeah. Patriots on the road, win. Patriots suck now. Jets at home, win. Dolphins at home, win. Bears at home, on the road, right? Doesn't matter, win. Week Monday 17, you guys.
They have two viable games that I think that they could lose right now.
I literally said 14-3 is the bottom. It played out that way. That's okay. So even if we say Bengals a loss, that's 3 losses. That's the bottom. And against New England at home, win.
That's why I'm saying if you're a Dolphin fan and they get past Kansas City and they go into the bye week to be able to prepare for Green Bay, your best hope is that they lose to Cincinnati on Monday night, the fucking 2nd of January.
Yep.
If not, fucking undefeated is on the fucking table for this team.
Ooh,
especially if they play that way.
Hot take coming at you. All right, Mikey. So that's it for us here. Week 3 next week. We'll see if they want shakeups. Some big games this weekend, especially 2.
Monday Night Football games this week.
Yeah. Quite before I go, why did that?
I can only assume that it was because they picked a West Coast game to be the Monday Night Football game as it was.
Right.
With Seattle, obviously Russ's return.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason why I could think they were doing 2 this week and not last week.
I mean, I'm not complaining about next week. I'm
not either. But I'm just saying it was weird.
Yeah, this is really weird. But see you next week.
Later, about.
Two-game report. Man, pal, effing Nash. What's going on?
Julius, good to see you, sir.
I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
Really?
Now I'm telling no, I hate you. You know why? Because you use that thing so much now that I'm now telling my kids now whenever they screw up at the house.
Wow, sounds like you're getting a little frisky with your children there. There.
How about Mitchell Trubisky? Is that gonna stick?
No, stop it! Trying to mix your mediocrity with more mediocrity.
Hey,
Don't bring this.
It is what it is.
Back up that game up anyway. So we'll get into that then. But no,
we have a lot to touch on. A lot.
You keep talking that trash. I'm going to bring up on air how your wife's texting me, Lucifer Morningstar. Okay.
I know. I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen. And the funny thing is that I actually get. I don't the one because I obviously Big Jim plays the actual sound effect now on the Hull Up podcast. But somehow whenever I hear that and I see the meme, I think of your vocals, not his, not Lucifer Morningstar.
Oh, that's incredibly flattering. Yeah, no, because I mean, listen, I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen. I love that actor. He does really good in the British Merlin show as well, and happens to be.
By the way, Lauren watched that show too. For the record, she watched that show. So
she said she started to, but then backed out, but was going to get back into it. Because you're too good to watch TV shows that are good, apparently.
Wow. So it started insult already. Right? Good job. It's like our text messages, right? Like what the fuck.
Hey, she had said, "Tell me to stop tilting on you," and I said, "I don't mean to do that to your husband. It just comes to me as naturally as drawing breath."
Oh boy! All right, let's get started. We got a lot to talk about. Not just in college, not just NFL, but in college too as well.
Right.
But let's start here first because this is fresh on our minds. It's fresh, even so much as how we were, you and I, on Twitter a little 30 minutes ago before we started recording this.
Yes.
And I'm going to start it here. What in the fuck was Nathaniel Hackett thinking last night, in the last minute? Please explain to me.
It's really easy because a lot of people are going, "What the heck? Y'all dummies don't know." Fear. Straight up, unadulterated, nothing else but fear. What's he so afraid of, Cal? That's a great question, Ernest Christian, and I'm here to tell you. So, first of all, let's remember this is a Monday night game. This is important. This means that he and everybody else had an opportunity to watch kickers flub endlessly at the end of the game, and things come down to last minute this and that. And seeing everything go wrong the way it did for a lot of teams in the NFL, which is why we have so much to talk about. I think he was afraid from that standpoint. A, B. This offense has already left 14 points literally in the end zone. He didn't trust him anymore. Sure, he had Russell Carrington Wilson, who we were told was going to be allowed to cook all game, but apparently...
Which he did, for record, most of the game anyway.
After throwing for 340 yards. By the way, EJ, you know how I know he had 340 yards at that point? Because he didn't throw the ball anymore! Then...
You seem mad.
I am. Because
I am too.
Here's the thing, and you saw this as part of an entanglement, which I'm kind of mad like Will Smith would be at Zeta if this were the situation in football. People are around you saying, Geno Smith did so good. Blah. Okay, listen.
He was good.
Timeout. He's all right. Anybody who can throw the ball 25 times and complete more than 80% had a good night, period, end of story. He helped overcome DK Metcalf's turnover, who I'm supposed to think is sliced bread. He is really good. He's just not the best receiver in the league, literally, within that group. You
Is
want
he
to
top
call
10? Is he top 10?
5? That's a separate conversation that I'll have. A case could probably be made depending on your criteria. But nonetheless, Geno Smith, a guy who at one point was moved lower in the depth chart because he got punched in the face by his own teammate, everybody seems to forgot, had a fantastic evening that evening. Now, I don't know how much of it you want to put on the Broncos scheme. And people may want to notice that the Broncos in general were dominated a lot more late in the game because, Denver finally realized they were in trouble.
Right.
But can we please stop acting like he's quarterback Jesus for 30 seconds, okay?
Oh, no. I said on that thread that was you, me, Turner reported Brandon Howard.
Yeah, so
it was
put some respect on those names. Ernest
I know, dude. I know. No, both can be right here. We don't have to. There's no wrong.
And they are. I think that's the point we were eventually getting to in that thread. But what I'm mad about with that, EJ Christian, is Russell Carrington Wilson hasn't gotten protection like that in this decade.
Yeah.
And that just makes me seethingly angry.
He should won the game last night. And it should have been going away.
Seattle fans shouldn't be celebrating Geno and cursing Russell Wilson. You should still be pissed at that awful human being of a coach, Pete Carroll. Okay, well, maybe he's a decent human being, but all I know is I go back
and forth because he's likable.
And scandal at USC. Ernest Christian, I am monologuing. Shut up. I don't care.
Okay, Bill Maher, go ahead.
Don't call me Bill Maher. I actually hate Joe Buck and know what I'm talking about. Here's this, though.
Hey, I love Joe Buck.
Did you see him basically sucking on Aaron Rodgers' toenails during his interview with him? Oh, I don't understand why people hate Joe Buck. He actually doesn't prepare for his show. Apparently, you don't either, Bill, with anything other than weed. And I say all that, and I'm still going to watch the show anyway. But listen. The part that Seattle fans are too stupid to understand about this football game is should have been at least 26-17 or 30-17, but no one wants to talk about that. Actually, you know what? I'll take the 2 points off. Who knows? The way kickers were going and the way kicks were getting blocked, maybe they missed the extra points. Okay, cool. Should have been 28-17. Let's not act like that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Enough with coulda, shoulda, woulda, all that. If you aren't furious about the fact that it took Russell leaving to get that kind of protection, you're an idiot for a football fan. And trust me, Seattle, I've seen you be idiots as football fans in person. All you did was prove it true once again.
So now we have 2 coaches in the AFC West I can't trust.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, but I'm sure we'll get to it later as the Chargers handled business.
Yes, but we'll get to that in a second.
Listen, the only thing involving butt should be you fantasizing your wife right now. I don't want to hear any buts about the Chargers performing well. No, listen, man. And by the way, my seething anger towards that has actually very little to do with Geno. But to make this game about Geno, in my opinion, and no offense to my friends, Teron Davenport and Brandon Howard, in my opinion, is just a bad take. Now, they're excited for different reasons because they've both been very vocal about quarterbacks of color. And listen, I'll go to war right alongside Brandon Howard talking about Lamar Jackson and bad takes regarding him that you've had on some of your podcasts with certain guests. And
But I didn't say it, though.
I know you didn't. I'm just letting them know that if they listen to this podcast, they're wrong.
Yeah. Oh, well, how question they're wrong? We've had a conversation a couple weeks ago.
You talk about how often I like being right. I want to be right in a way that you'll actually agree with. That isn't a dunk right on your bald head. That's
I had a little bit of hair here. I got to cut my hair tonight. And by the way, Russ did cook last night until he was not allowed to cook in season at the end. Just saying.
Yeah, you didn't let the damn chef make the pastry. The hell.
So Nathaniel Hackett hot seat already. No, I'm joking, but still, really.
Yeah, I know the fans want that, but
so bad. I'm gonna touch on a topic that I'm sick of hearing about because I get it. The America's team, they don't interest me personally.
Yeah.
But how much trouble the Cowboys really in with Dak being out now for 6-8 weeks?
Listen, tell me you haven't listened to the Student of the Game podcast NFC preview, or excuse me, final game predictions without telling me you haven't listened to the Student of the Game.
I was on that episode, actually.
That's the joke, EJ Christian.
Yes.
Well, no, you were on the NFC preview. You did not watch the last week's or 2 weeks ago when I locked in. No, it was last week when I locked in on my predictions, and you saw the Cowboys at 7-10. Then,
yes,
okay,
with Dak.
How do I think? Yeah, no, the Cowboys are screwed. Now, let's not do anything stupid like, oh, we're going to go get Jimmy Garoppolo. No, I know you posed that question, but I know
I just asked out of because what week is week one?
Curiosity. This is one of those where I'm not trying to dunk on you, but the other people the thing is, other people have asked it unironically or uninquisitively, thinking it's a good plan. It's not. The best thing, the reason why the whole Dak situation isn't as bad as it could be, this is me being positive, right? Dak isn't going to be out but for 6 to 8 weeks. That part of the schedule is relatively light. If you are going to win those games, whether it's Dak or Cooper Rush, may not make that big a difference necessarily. Because what the biggest problem is y'all can't run the football like we were promised from Jera. And, of course, we all knew that was ridiculous.
And by the way, I saw a report about an hour ago, Jera, where he said that Dak is not going to IR because he thinks he could be back as early as 4 weeks from now.
Well, okay, that's...
according to Jera. Jera's words.
No, and he's going to have information on that. I don't. It's the dude's team. Never, like, I'm never going to assume I know who you're investigating in your security van because only during this hour or in a Huddle Up podcast, bing, am I actually in the van with you. So, I'm
looking around and see what's going on in the van real quick.
Everything good in here? You need me, boss?
Very good. Really good. It's good.
Yeah. No, but I don't want to know what you're watching if that's your answer. Anyway. No, but listen, for my money, the Cowboys have a lot bigger problems than that. I will give them this much credit. Holding the alleged GOAT to 19 points as an offense is impressive, especially considering how bad things went defensively. Offensively.
The defense was the only spot, the only good saving grace that team on that game, that Michael Parsons and company.
Right. And Chris Godwin leaving the game certainly helped that, but as I point out, as I'm going to point out when it drops in the matchup mania this week on 3pointconversion.com, bing, that still means they have plenty from Marshawn Lattimore and the Saints to worry about. So, but yeah, the Cowboys weren't playoff relevant already. In my mind, this just makes it worse. And who knows, maybe they'll actually get a good draft pick out of it. And give Jera and company some credit. They had that amazing O-line on his watch, making good draft picks. Micah Parsons is a Cowboy on his watch. They've
done well.
They've done pretty good in the draft. They haven't nailed it. I mean, say what you will about Zeke, but Pollard was also drafted by them too. I liked him coming out of Memphis, not as much as Darrell Henderson, who's playing for the Rams now, but still both good backs. Anyways, but yeah, I enjoy football as much as you can because it's football. You are the biggest fan base in the nation, Cowboys fans. So, a little rain must fall. Hell, even the Empire lost a few battles to the rebellion in Star Wars.
I mean, I get the whole America's team thing, though, real quick. A little sidebar quick, though, but I don't find them even interesting. And ESPN flates them like all day long.
Well, listen, ironically quoting Deion Sanders, a now famous Cowboy, that's a business decision.
Yeah, I get why people, big fan base, I get all that, but it's like, okay, like, you're not interesting, though. Like, I literally don't even like interested. I am more interested to hear about the Patriots right now than do about the Cowboys.
Well, and I think that's Mike McCarthy's fault, right? I think that's the guy. Listen, it's a great opportunity for them to stink again and them to get into decent coach. And listen, Sean Payton's already talking about being very interested in possibly coming back coaching if you read between the lines when he's on Colin Cowherd's show.
He was there yesterday. I saw a little 27-minute interview.
Yeah, which was gold, by the way.
I didn't finish it yet. I started last night, but I didn't finish it.
I don't know how much I buy this whole Mahomes thing. I'm like, okay, yeah, you looked at him, but you got beat to the punch. It is what it is. But, nothing wrong with losing a great prospect to Andy Reid, who's arguably one of the best to do it all time.
Yeah.
So I digress.
Should we be concerned about the Green Bay Packers? Oh, sorry. No. There's a little lag there. There's a little lag there. A little lag. Should we be concerned about the Packers, though?
No.
Okay.
Were you concerned about the Packers after week 1 last year when they got trounced by the Saints?
No, but it feels a little different this year. I don't know why. It feels a little different this year.
Different because you've been fed everything's awful and the sky is falling. The difference is the expectations were higher for Green Bay, and people were making their predictions. Aaron was fresh off of his first MVP, so it was still novel, right? And he had the situation in the playoffs where I don't want to say choked, but fell short of expectation. It was novel then, So people saw all that and assumed the sky is falling, and then now it's not. Also, the Saints that year, pretty awful, at least in perception. Yeah, I know they battled back at the end of last year and looked better than they started for sure, but a lot of that is perception. Like if they had gone out and had the game like they did against the Falcons, for example, then I'd be more worried. The Vikings are going to flirt with being a good team. They're going to disappoint their fan base again, probably, but
because that's what they do.
Because Kirk Cousins. But the Vikings are not a bad football team, and you actually picked the Vikings to win. So, is that because you think Green Bay is going to not make the playoffs?
No. I agree with winning the division, but I did say that division come down to a tiebreaker ish situation.
I said it was going to be one game, and I gave it to the Packers based on
me too.
Game. And I have them splitting with the Vikings. Granted, would it have been this game that I picked them to win? Maybe, maybe not. I don't remember my mindset exactly, but I could make a case for either side on that. The later in the year you meet Aaron Rodgers in this receiver core, the more dangerous they're going to be just by having gotten chemistry. This is one example of you got a team in week 1 and it was the best time to get them.
And here's a good stat too also. You said before the year started. Kirk Cousins plays only 2 primetime games this year.
Yeah, no.
Only 2. One of them is next week. So you get out of the way early.
And that Eagles team, that's going to be a very fine matchup.
I know people thought I was crazy with saying it's a big game, but I think this is the thing, and I'll get to the Eagles part here with this Vikings thing. The Eagles' schedule is so easy on paper right now.
Right.
That I believe that the Rams even have a couple more hiccups going forward. Number 1 season play for the Eagles. And this game here against Minnesota, if Minnesota is as good as we think they are, who could be battling for a 1 seed also too, maybe down the road, this could be a humongous game in terms of like the standings and seeding going forward.
So what you're using here for historical context, EJ, because I'm validating your point that this sort of thing has happened before, right? You're giving the Rex Grossman Chicago Bears defense. The NFC as a conference was a joke, let alone their division that year.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
I mean, who was it they were battling in the playoffs? Right?
Saints. They played the Saints at playoffs. They played the
Were they still having? Was it still Aaron Brooks at quarterback back then?
No, it was Drew Brees. Drew Brees' first year there.
Okay, it was first year. Okay,
yeah.
But the point is, not fully developed yet.
Yeah.
To the Saints as you know them, and people are fooled by right now.
Right.
And I believe it was the Panthers who were the other one.
Correct.
And
yes.
were those the Delhomme,
yeah,
quarterback Panthers? Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, I know Delhomme made it to a Super Bowl, but never been a fan of his per se.
I'm just saying that game was huge. I mean, I know we're in our chat on Whole Up Chat. Matt was making a big deal about not a big deal. Trust me, this is what makes NFL special. Every game counts. Well, every game counts.
Right. More here. The point you used the term "must win." That's where he was at you. Let's keep it out of the fake news territory there.
I like to blow a little bit more into hot take because it's what I do. It's what I do. But the reality is that's a huge game.
No, it will be an important game. Absolutely. It didn't make the matchup mania simply because I don't believe in the Eagles quite like that yet. Mm-hmm. But I'll leave that at that.
Right. All right. Next thing here. It's been decades, Kyle.
Yeah.
But I really, really feel like, and especially what I saw, and I'm not trying to overreact there, but especially what I saw on Sunday.
Overreaction is what you do. Just stop saying
you're not overreacting, but this is something I didn't like what I saw come out of camp and what was here on camp. And then I saw the product on Monday. I'm like, ooh, boy. I feel like we're finally about to see the implosion of the Patriots after decades and decades. It just feels like the time has come. And I think the biggest part of this, it's not even Tom Brady anymore. Losing Josh McDaniel is a big deal. That offense looked uninspired, looked uncreative. Maybe it's Miami's defense is much better than we thought. I thought they were, but man, that Patriots offense looked like boo-boo on Sunday.
So, and I really should. I knew you were going to bring up the Patriots. I really wish I was better prepared for the McDaniel take because there's some questions I'd have to answer before I'm even confident entertaining that. Like that's a bit of a knee jerk in my mind because when he was over in Denver, drafting Tim Tebow in the first round,
Yeah,
I kind of feel like the Patriots were still relatively successful in that time. I think the bigger problem is Belichick. And listen, I've been a guy that's defended Belichick a lot. Oh, he needed Tom Brady to succeed. Fool, please. All y'all were taking diarrhea dumps all over Mac Jones, and he's been performing the way he's been performing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, this game one isn't because how many drops were there? And let's be clear, Miami is a place the Patriots, even with your boy Brady, have traditionally performed badly, and they have traditionally performed badly there in August. I'm not ready to panic yet. Now, and by the way, in an NFC where there's now an extra playoffs, excuse me, they're not in the NFC. If they were in the NFC with an extra playoff spot, I would definitely tell you there's no reason to panic. The reason why one must panic is because of the many teams in the AFC that are good, and sneaking in is problematic. Listen, if you actually listened to my predictions for the playoffs and who will get in or not, 2 teams are missing with 10-win records in my mind. And by the way, side note, whoever's trying to tell me that the Vikings are going to win 13 games, that's a lot of games, baby.
I don't go that far, but I mean, Vikings are pretty good. But yeah, the Pats, I don't know.
See, the joke is I've never actually smoked, but I do a really good simulation of
you do really good simulation of marijuana. My boy Brian Daboll going for 2 to win the game. Yay or nay?
Listen, that's the most damn yay thing about that whole game, because Giants fan chirping, I'm sure, is annoying the hell out of you, as implying they actually deserve the W. The reason why Daboll is smart is he did something a lot of other coaches who are smart with their players, like a John Harbaugh. He felt the room. He rode the wave. He knew damn sure that defense wasn't going to take down this team who knows for a fact that they aren't performing like they need to. If the Titans had gotten to overtime, Chris Henry would have put that damn game on his back and business would have been handled.
You mean Derrick Henry?
What'd I say?
Chris Henry. Rest in peace.
Hey, my bad. Derrick Henry, of course.
Yeah.
No, you know what was? Is I was actually thinking CJ2K and Derrick Henry both.
Oh.
Anyways, and
You're
then
riffing.
I got Chris Henry, who, well, regardless if he was a character guy, rest in peace. Anyways, say all that to say that play call to ride the wave of momentum, to take it to the Titans while they were still on their heels in the part of the squad, EJ Christian, where they're actually weakest, their defensive front, was an absolutely excellent coaching plan and something your boy Pat Shurmur never would have thought of.
Hell no. Hell no. And I'll tell you what, watching the game in real time, as a Giants fan, watching the game in real time, my wife will tell you also too.
Oh, your wife?
No, she no, but we were watching the game together, and I told her, go for it. You know why? We have nothing to lose. You're a bad team anyway. Just go for it.
That's part of it. I don't want to just because if that's actually part of your coaching strategy, we'll never find out for real, because there's no way in hell you can say that to your team. Listen,
of course, but I'm saying that as a fan. I'm saying
F them. You know, the only way that works is in the context of like of the replacements. You know, this could be your last night of playing football, and that makes you very dangerous people. Well, you know, the road momentum. Momentum is a fickle mistress, sir.
Yeah, and at that point in the game too, also Tennessee is on the ropes too. They're on the back end, so like they mentioned that. Absolutely, I'm totally with you on that. So this weekend we heard Lamar Jackson, the Ravens can reach a deal, for an extension. But Lamar balled.
Newsworthy, by the way, Ernest, because not to interrupt you, but now I'm paying attention. Before, couldn't care less. I really thought they were going to make a deal in the 11th hour. They didn't. Oh boy.
Guaranteed money still separated. That's what it comes down to.
You know, I'm not sure. So first of all, let me say this. I was listening to Richard Sherman's podcast. He was asked directly about Lamar Jackson, and he answered exactly as I did, and as I expected Richard Sherman would. By the way, Richard Sherman, one of my first interviews video of all time.
Remember that.
But he said exactly what I thought he said. would say. Yes, he agreed with the move. He likes what Lamar is doing. Over and above the fact that when Richard Sherman did it, he's not a quarterback, so he has that much more leverage, right? If the franchise doesn't see you as the unique individual you are as an entity and football player, and an agent, and the state of the market and the art is incapable of dealing with you, this is why Lamar Jackson has taken to represent himself. And it's absolutely gorgeous that he's doing it. Is it risky? Yes. Would I, were I him, be that risky? Probably not. But I'm not him. And this isn't me saying he's wrong. The part that baffles me is that Baltimore has already been burned this way by a far less talented quarterback who ironically started against them this week in Joe Flacco. And y'all ain't learned your damn lesson yet. Y'all are that certain L-Jack's going to get hurt that you're going to roll the dice like this. And by the way, Richard Sherman pointed this out, and I think I had to before listening to it the other day, but he reminded me of it. The salary cap's going up. Why are you not meeting L-Jack's demands with the salary cap going up? I get that you're trying to deflect what the Browns did to the quarterback market with that garbage deal to Deshaun Watson. And no, it has nothing to do with his social ethics. I mean, he blew up the quarterback market and teams are on their heels in leverage now. If you don't believe L-Jack is durable, you can't sign a Deshaun Watson deal. That's where I'm at.
And he balled out Sunday.
Yeah, he did. Granted, very slow first half. I was very nervous to have to listen to the dummies, but then Lamar Jackson went all Lamar Jackson on him and took care of it.
And he balled out throwing the ball, the thing that people say you can't do properly.
What? What are you talking about?
Yeah, dude, it's out there.
I guess I'll have to watch the film again. I didn't see that. That's a joke.
Let's go back to Thursday night, first game of the year. Buffalo Bills domination. Every fear, I think people who had the Bills win the Super Bowl this year, I think you had them win the Super Bowl as well this year.
I did. I actually
every fear I think everybody had about this team we saw, and that's with turning the ball over 4 times and still winning on the road against the champs by 21 points.
You know,
they're gonna be a fucking problem.
I'm really glad, EJ Christian. Like, this is the happiest I've been of you in your coverage in a long time. And no, it's not shit talk like about, you having 87 teams and being horrible at doing power rankings. Like, no.
88, no.
Details.
Irish.
I can't listen. Thank you for updating me because I sure can't keep track.
Can't keep up, man,
But like, listen, for all the times I dunked on you like Shaq on Chris Dudley, like that whole thing where people are like, oh, the Rams were humiliated. First of all, dumbasses, the score was 10-10 at the damn half. Okay? It's like these idiots that like Kyle Shanahan lost the game for the 49ers in the Super Bowl. No, dummies. Maybe he didn't land a separate question. But Patrick LaVon Mahomes II went all Patrick LaVon Mahomes II on the Niners at the end of that game to win that Super Bowl.
Correct.
The Rams weren't humiliated, although except maybe their left tackle replacing Andrew Whitworth. But honestly, who can replace Andrew Whitworth?
True.
Another guy I've interviewed. Super cool. But they were amazing. And we need to be talking about that. And no, not just all the typical Josh Allen. Everybody forgot he wasn't good till Stephon Diggs got there, like I predicted back in August when he arrived there that year. I don't mean to stroke my ego so much here on your show, by the way. I'm just trying to remind people of the reality of these situations. That is a good football team. Josh Allen's just part of it. Josh Allen's going to win the MVP. Do I think he deserves it? No. That is a bloated team. That is a huge team. The best defense for Josh Allen as an MVP candidate is all these idiots that were like, well, Buffalo doesn't have a run game. And then in the very next sentence will tell me how good a runner Josh Allen is. Dumbasses. So, no.
And by the way, also, too, I went to the Bills schedule in the last segment with Mikey B on the power rankings. He made the case in the last segment that it's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but the Bills going unbeaten is not off the table.
Oh, boy.
That schedule, I look at that schedule, is actually not saying it's going to happen, but I did say my predictions that the Bills' floor this year, for record, the floor was 14-3.
Jesus.
Looking at that schedule, the 3 hardest games, they got past the first one against the Rams, Bengals, Chiefs, and I think the other one was the not the Titans. Titans suck this year. There's another one there in there.
If you're going to call anybody going undefeated,
and Ravens.
Okay, fine, add them in since the Rams are already off the table. If you're going to call undefeated for where teams like the Chiefs, the Ravens, and
the Bengals late in the year
on the schedule, you're a braver man than I. That's all I'll leave it.
I'm not doing it, but that does play into my
was doing it either. I think Mike was what's his words? Pointing out that, hey, this could be a thing, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, of course.
Defense. We're not talking enough about Von Miller and company either. And by the way, you want to know why the game was so wacky and sloppy with turnovers on Thursday? Name me another game you've watched that had that much defensive tackle talent on the field. And by the way, allegedly, Aaron Donald's counterpart in the middle there was deemed on the back of a milk carton because of the protection that was given by the mediocre Bills offensive line. Okay. Cool story, bro. And can we please stop? Aaron Donald was neutralized. How many turnovers did the Bills have again? They lost the goddamn turnover battle and they still dominated. That's the goddamn news story. It was 10-10.
That's the point.
It was a defensive battle, and that offense, not the Rams being bad, that offense found a way. The Bills defense is still good, and they couldn't. Now, the Rams need to, if you want to panic for the Rams, here's where you do it, on the offensive line. John Matthew Stafford is not the problem.
Right. One more NFL thing. We'll get to college real quick. I mentioned the Chargers earlier on this segment. Big win against the Raiders, obviously. Not surprised. I picked them in the game.
That was the premier game this week, in my opinion.
But it felt, to me anyway, and I'm probably going to be wrong here, it felt a little underwhelming because I wanted to see the Chargers team that we've been hearing all summer long. This team is the best roster in football. I wanted to see them go for the throat and pull and run away with it. And instead, that game came down to Raiders actually having a chance to win it late.
The Raiders are a football team, Ernest Christian.
No, I agree. I get that, but the Chargers were up big early.
See, I gave you all these props about how you're framing. Yeah, I'm giving you all these props about how you're framing the Bills-Rams game, and then you turn around and screw it all up by the way you're framing this game.
That's what I do, buddy.
Yeah, but no, and listen, joking aside, like I think you're framing it a little wrong there. Can we give Justin Hermit some credit? By the way, Keenan Allen got hurt in the game, bro.
That's true. That's just true.
That's important.
Yeah. He's not playing this Thursday. They just almost ruled out unlikely to play on Thursday. It's the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Huge game too. Huge game.
Yeah. You might see that mentioned in the matchup mania. Bing! But
nice.
With the way that the Chargers ran the football, with the way that Justin Herberted, regardless of Herbert missing basically the second half, Keenan Allen missing basically the second half, and they still won the football game. Ernest Christian, if you don't have Justin Herbert on your list of MVP candidates already, you're wrong.
Oh, he's there.
I know he is because you're smarter. You were with me that John Matthew Stafford should have gotten more credit than he did in Detroit. Okay.
Right.
There are some places where you're always wrong. Your quarterback evals, except for with Tom Brady, is not among them.
By the way, the Dallas Cowboys, now granted, you probably didn't consider the same way because you thought the Cowboys would be 7-10 this year, but the Cowboys, Dak injury only increases my Washington Commanders playoff chances. And they want to know for the record. And they want to know for the record.
No.
Let's go.
It doesn't
do
a damn thing for your Red Tails.
I'm joking, buddy.
At all. You know what did more for your Red Tails prediction? Trevor Lawrence sailing a few too many balls on the receiver.
Yeah, he looked kind of shaky on Sunday. He had moments, and he had like weird moments.
We saw it in training camp that he was sailing balls. He acknowledged that in his mind, the problem was not chemistry with new receivers. He just hasn't gotten comfortable and he's sailing the ball. I think the best point that I've heard made, as much as I hear coaches bitching about it, this is the one that's good. It's not just that preseason's been shortened, is that people have stopped playing starters in preseason. Now, the Jacks didn't do that, so I don't know what the hell's going on there, but That's the reason why I think you saw some of the results that you did too.
Oh wait, Carson Wentz looked pretty good on Sunday. Looked pretty good.
By the way, speaking of startings and preseason or not, I still need a good explanation on why Mitchell Trubisky is a starting quarterback in the NFL right now.
You mean Mitchell Trubisky?
No, I mean T-Dog Mitch.
A Trubisky?
Or whatever the hell. I'm not right now. This is serious.
I'm trying to make Trubisky a thing, man. It's not working right now.
No, it's not, because it sucks, EJ. Take a hint.
We'll try to hold up on tonight. We'll try to hold up tonight. All right. Let's go college football quick.
Well, no, quick. I got to get this out.
Go ahead.
Turnovers, and all you could muster was 23 points in 60 minutes. No, sorry, 75 minutes of football. And you're going to try to tell me you're an NFL starter. Stop it. Najee Harris got hurt, and you were.
So Kenny Pickett will be a starter within the month.
Now, that being said, Joey Burr comes out with that crap show that he did to open. He'll even tell you that is the worst game he played in.
And they almost still won the game.
And can we get off of McPherson for 30 seconds, though? Somebody give Minka Fitzpatrick some goddamn props.
Dude, that guy is a fucking baller.
And with TJ Watt out, notice how the Cincinnati started to move the ball more. And Minka said, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not cool, care. And he blocked it. And I'm like, you know what? I missed. I was ticked when Miami let you go. Why are you mad at me? Damn it.
Yeah. All right. So to some college football talk here. A story that we kind of already saw coming once they lost to Northwestern in week 0.
Is that since we already saw it coming? Does that qualify as I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen?
Let's qualify that. Yes. Scott Frost out of Nebraska. Your thoughts?
Not shocking. It took a little longer than I thought. I
2
really
weeks longer.
What's that?
2 weeks longer or a year?
Years.
Okay.
Years longer. I thought he was going to be. I believe he got extended there. I could be wrong. But I thought he was going to be out of there sooner than he was. That style of football, in my opinion, is not tenable in the Big Ten. Sure, you might win a few bowl games with it, and if you're trying to be a national championship candidate, you might get a little lucky, as the Oregon Ducks did against your FSU Seminoles with Jameis Winston and that whole unexplainable I left it on the ground fumble thing back in the first playoff that was eventually won by Carnell Jones. God. I'm sure he's still getting, free drinks wherever he goes, but I ain't seen him since, I guess he was in the AAF or something like that. Anyway.
I think he was in the AAF, actually.
I just forget which team he played for. But I say all of the above to say that can't work day to day in the Big Ten. You have speed-based finesse offenses like that. Their one weakness is they get punched in the mouth and beaten in the middle, and then, there's just no hope to get going because you can't get your footing when everybody's in the backfield like that, right? Mm-hmm. That's why all the time throughout history, Stanford, even when Oregon is great and Stanford is not having a great year, they'll beat Oregon in that matchup. It's the same sort of thing.
All right. Finally, give me some takeaways from week 2 in college football. It was a chaotic weekend. What stood out to you the most?
Man, listen. Oh, God, nobody's safe. And over the above the fact that you want to try to start to run your mouth about Texas A&M as if you saw it coming.
Me?
Child, please.
Me?
You.
I didn't say anything about Texas A&M.
I saw your get the F out of here tweet. Don't act all innocent.
No, because everybody's talking about the next team to crack the 4. I'm like, nah.
You know why I picked that. It wasn't because I thought big things about Texas A&M. It's just I assumed there are going to be 2 SEC teams in there because it's the SEC and it's the best money.
And I think Georgia's reminding y'all, Georgia reminding folks.
Well,
we still here.
Well, yeah, I'm not worried about Georgia. We're talking about the second SEC team. You're not paying.
Bama? You mean Alabama? The second one?
Oh, well, there you go. And yeah, with that, we already, the reason why I kind of dismissed you bringing up Georgia, like we talked about that last week. I think we're good with Georgia being amazing. Something that basically they were trying to clone EJ Christian and were retooling, but it went horribly wrong.
Hold on, podcast tonight. Can't wait.
Yeah, no, I kind of misunderstood your context there. So no, yeah, Georgia being back, like that's old news from where you and I sit. But for the purposes of this, yeah, sure, they're very much alive in the game. Florida falling prey to the SEC, the SEC eating the SEC as we always seen. Yeah,
cannibalization, baby.
I still see Kentucky as a basketball team first, but listen,
I do too.
I covered them in the Citrus Bowl and watched them beat Iowa. And you know what? They're a tough football team. That is a fact.
That's true.
Oh, and as to your Baylor Bears there, sir, I tried to tell you, but you wouldn't listen.
Who picked BYU on the panel? I think it was you, right? The only one. Yeah.
I'm doing that to show you there's only one hand for those who are watching the video. I moved aside. See if there's anybody else in the room.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
The saggy defense. It wasn't me.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
It was Matt either, and I don't believe it was Jim either.
No.
So
those two jabronis wouldn't have the guts to pick BYU anyway. So
and listen, I was afraid to make that pick after what Jim had me believing with Utah, and I blame you. No, not you. I blame Jim for that. But because it's a Cena quote, I know it's going to be tough for him to see me. So
he'll see. He can't see me, John Cena.
Anyways, this is more wrestling drops than you ever expected from me.
I love it.
Praise, and that proves that everybody's got a price.
So does the AP the AP has right now currently the same four I have in order. Alabama. Oh no, sorry, Alabama. Georgia.
Damn it.
Ohio State, Alabama, and Michigan. Are you there too?
Yeah, that's not rough. That's not rough at all for me. Two Big Ten teams is fascinating. Can you imagine how much the general public will lose their entire shit? There, I cursed on your show for you. We'll lose.
I love it.
Shit. If two SEC teams and two Big Ten teams go,
ain't happening. I don't know.
Never say never.
No. I say that ain't happening, but it may happen.
Listen, if the committee can feel compelled to let in a team from the American Athletic Conference, sir, any goddamn thing is possible.
I agree.
And you're listen, you're Oklahoma Sooners with overrated Dilly Gabriel at the quarterback position, bro. You're letting yourself in for disappointment. I can tell you that for a fact.
By the way, Michigan did not cover this week against Hawaii.
I think we all said they wouldn't cover the 51.
Right. So much points in the college football. I'm sorry. Always took the feel on that one.
Hey,
anyway,
you degenerates out there, but you wouldn't listen.
Yeah. Anyway, plug away, Kyle.
Wow, that was a fast one this week.
Was it really 42 minutes fast?
Listen,
what's the average?
No, it felt fast. I'll say this too, by the way. All the Bear fans that want to chirp about beating the 49ers on Saturday by having the game handed to them and making it obvious that you knew you didn't deserve the win with this soccer sliding rain celebration bullcrap. Mm-hmm. You guys can keep talk about that, and we'll continue to talk about that while you're watching the 49ers play in January. Anyways, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game.
Talking shit. Look at Niner fan talking shit.
That's not trash. That's
probably right, though. You're probably right.
I mean, honestly, you know what the biggest disaster is for the NFC West?
What's that?
The fact that the Seattle Seahawks were handed a goddamn victory and now are at the top of the division.
Can Geno sustain? That's the question.
Hell no.
I hope he does, but probably not.
The one thing that's going to wreck him, or I should say his numbers, when that team doesn't have the luxury of playing in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Because that home field advantage is real. I
saw last night.
Experienced it. I'm sure it was a big part of it, though I don't believe volume makes running backs drop fumbles in the end zone here nor there. There were a number of delay of games and false starts that I definitely attribute to that home field advantage, 100%. But now that let's put it this way. If Geno Smith can be as efficient as he was against the Broncos battling that 49ers front, I am compared to reevaluate my assessment of one Geno Smith. Anyways, of course, I'm Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Twitter at the SOTG. Find me on Instagram as the same, the SOTG. Look for my work covering the UCF Knights with the black and gold banneret, which, by the way, during their first game, EJ Christian, Gabe Davis was on the sideline. I whispered to him as well that I had the Bills going to the Super Bowl. Can't help but notice he caught the first touchdown after I whispered.
Yeah, I thought watching when I saw the first time. By the way, is he the best number 2 guy in the league, a receiver?
I'm going to say, without having properly researched it at this time, it is certainly a worthy point for you to bring up and keep on me about it. I will answer that question as you ask it on the next Football is Awesome Student of the Game report. I don't want to steal it from you and do it on my show, but
I don't care.
Let's. I'm trying to tease your show, bitch. Stop being a hippie. nothing like cursing at the host and getting.
I love it.
No, but yeah, that's definitely something I want you to bring up next week because I think that'd definitely be a good topic.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I want one more week of evaluation to see if the Packers receivers do any damn thing. And of course, check out my work with the Black and Gold Banneret covering UCF football and when it is in season basketball as well. Check out my work with the 3pointconversion.com, which will include this week's edition of the Matchup Mania that will drop Wednesday, I'm told. And then also this weekend, the Jaguars season opener as they host the 0-1 Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, Lord.
I would have put that game on the Matchup Mania, but as I stated, I'm not covering a division that doesn't have a win in it yet, for God's sake. By the way, EJ, here's where you're wrong about draws. You have to
ties.
Draw.
I almost named this episode I Hate Ties.
Okay, and I'm here to tell you why you're wrong every single way. In the NFL, you have to earn a victory. This isn't basketball where no one has a higher score yet. It's another overtime. Keep going, fellas. Good luck.
Don't make fun of basketball, buddy.
Too late. Oh, you're playing in the park and no one has a winning score yet? Well, just keep playing. You could have 5 more minutes. I'm a responsible parent. 5 more minutes? No, we have to go home. It's dinner time. You had your chance. You didn't do it. Life is harsh. Sometimes neither team deserves to lose, and sometimes neither team deserves to win. And that is what we saw with the Texans and Colts. That's why ties are perfectly okay.
I hate ties.
You're still wrong. Anyway, check out my work with the Jacksonville Jaguars with the 3pointconversion.com as well as A7BM Sports and the Captain and Company Morning Show on Old School 101.com. Something Demosthenes Euclid. No, check out the work as well with Hilarity by Default and the YouTube channel with Demosthenes Euclid. Good times, man. But until next time, and until Tuesday night, most specifically, class dismissed.
All right, EJ versus Degenerate now on Football's Awesome. Zachary, you won week 1 by a game.
Everything I participated, I won week 1.
Did you gamble this weekend? And if so, how'd you do?
I did great up until fucking your wannabe goat.
That wasn't his fault, though. That's not his fault, though.
Seattle's defense.
That wasn't his fault, though. He had a good game.
Dude was scared to even run for a first down anymore.
Play call was horrible, and I gave it a Hackett. Fucking cost me that game late, So, but we've been discussing Hackett all through the fucking podcast and everything else. It is what it is. But you win week 1. We both had good weeks, actually. I hit 10 games. You hit 11 games this weekend. So we both had good weeks this week as a spread. This week, I'm looking at these spreads, and I'll tell you, Vegas kind of I think they nailed these spreads a little bit this week. It feels a little difficult.
Did you notice the drastic difference in a few of these games from the time they opened until just today? I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, so we'll get to the second one. I'll mention 2 of them already because I was on the Hello podcast earlier tonight discussing some of those spreads, and the spreads he had said on the show had moved from when he had written them down, like 3 points, for example, in one of those games. So let's go to the big game on Thursday night. Huge, probably game of the weekend, in my opinion. You have the LA Chargers heading to Kansas City to face the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 4-point favorites. Over-under is 54.5. I'm excited about this game. I wish Keenan Allen was playing this game. He's unlikely to be playing for the Chargers this week. Chiefs look fucking like world beaters on Sunday night afternoon in Arizona. Chargers, big win against the Raiders too, but I've been saying that that win felt a little underwhelming because I thought they could have put the foot in the gas and kind of thing, and the Raiders had a chance to win the game late. So I went over in this game on the points. I don't want to touch because even the Chargers, no matter how bad they are or how good they are, the Chargers always seem to steal a game from the Chiefs every year. They give the Chiefs problems every year. But man, KC, they look like the best team in football next to Buffalo. So I'm gonna go over though. That's a safe bet. What you got?
I was going over, but man, you talking about Keenan Allen being out? I almost want to feel like the safer bet is just taking Kansas City to cover. But for now, I'm gonna go with when in doubt, just take the over.
You're going the over, huh? All right. This should be a good game though, even while Keenan Allen playing. All right, next one here we have Sunday games, 1:00. We have the New York Jets heading to Cleveland to face the Browns. The Browns are 7-point favorites. The over/under is 40. Browns want to know so far.
Yeah, that was a freaking miracle at the end.
Yeah, they had a big lead. They had a lead late most of the game, and then Baker came back, almost pulled it out for them for the Panthers.
That asshole screwed me so many ways.
So my parlay, I had a 5-team parlay. Now, granted, thank God that happened because I would have been even more pissed off last night because what happened in the Denver game. Because I had the under on the Browns and the Panthers. That did not hit. Had that a hit, I've been 4-0 going to last night's game, which I had Seattle or Denver rather to cover against Seattle, which did not happen obviously because they lost outright. So I've been more pissed off probably. So probably a good thing I got beaten up on Sunday as opposed to last night. So in any case, I'm going a slight over in this game.
Ooh. Wow. I didn't know whether or not to go under or just take Cleveland. But since you're going over, I'll take the under.
Okay. I thought about that actually at one point, but it's like, you know what? Maybe I can see Cleveland scoring like 27 points and the Jets score maybe 14 and that gets a 41 point. You know what I'm saying? Some of that situation happening there. So
Man, if you can see that, you should be taking freaking the Browns.
I don't know. Do we know how good the Browns are yet? Do we know how good they are yet? I mean, we know the Jets are bad, but do we know how good the Browns are yet? Are they 7 points better right now than the Jets?
With
I don't
no
know.
quarterback they are.
Yeah. Could be right. We'll see what happens there. All right, next game here we have the Washington Commanders. I think I use this shit. Washington Commanders heading to Detroit face the Lions. The Lions are right now 1-point favorites. The over/under is 49 points. I've been praising Carson Wentz all week so far. He had a great game. He had one bad pick in the game, but he had a great game against Jacksonville. Otherwise, this is a dangerous game, Zach.
Look, I know everybody's still excited about Detroit putting up 35 points, almost coming back for a victory, but stop it. It was week one. They always play big week one. I'll take the Commies to win outright, seeing as they were the original favorite by Vegas.
So you think Washington went out right, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you made me look good because I have your Commies going to the playoffs this year. Just saying. So anyway, I think some crazy for saying that, but who knows? Again, this is the last year of Carson Wentz for me. I'm on the bandwagon. That's it. All right, next game here we have a really big divisional game in the NFC South. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading to New Orleans to face the Saints. The Bucs are 3-point favorites on the road. The over/under is 44 points. Zach, where are you going on this one?
I was looking at the under, but because of the history, I'm just going to take the Saints.
They should have lost on Sunday to Atlanta.
They should have. And man, you'd have never heard the end of it from me.
You did take Atlanta points, didn't you?
Yeah, but you were the one trying to put Atlanta in the grave as the worst team in football this coming year.
The second worst team. I had Houston worst team in football.
Yeah, and both of those teams played pretty good.
Yeah, again,
most of the
week
game
one.
they looked better than your crappy ass Giants.
Giants did win this game, right? I thought they won, right? Yeah, they won. Just making sure. We're in first place as a record with you guys. So you gonna go New Orleans this one?
Yeah.
I'm going Tampa. I don't know why. I have no logic because Tampa did lose to this team twice last year. But I don't know. Tampa, I'm sure Brady's probably pissed off despite winning against Dallas on Sunday Football. Probably still seeing the performance they had on offense. only scored 19 points against the Cowboys. Probably seething a little bit. Maybe they'll try to, make the Saints pay a little bit.
That offensive line is terrible for Tampa.
Yeah.
I don't care how quickly he gets rid of the ball. It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, I see a point there. We'll see if they can improve in the weeks to come. All right, next game here. Here we go. It's my game. The Carolina Panthers headed to New York, face the Giants, who are now 1-0 for the first time since 2016. The Giants are 1-point favorites. The over-under is 43 points. This is a tough game to look at because, do we know how good the Giants are? Carolina came back late in their game against Cleveland. They lost. I'm going to go homer here. I'm going to take the Giants.
Wow, such a homer with, what was the spread?
1 point.
Wow. Good job, buddy.
Where are you going to go on this one?
Carolina. I wanted to just take the over, but I feel like I need to go against you in this game. So I'll take Carolina.
All right, man. Next game here we have the New England Patriots heading to Pittsburgh to face the Steelers. It is a pick'em. Over-under is 40.5. Where you got this one? I think we're seeing the implosion. You said last week on the podcast that we're seeing the end of the empire coming down. I'm going to add to that. I wrote about this on my Substack today. We are seeing the beginning of the end of the Belichick era in New England, I think.
I think we've realized how much Tom Brady literally kept that up. Because if you go through his draft classes, because he's in charge of the draft, it's been a stinker after a stinker. He has been terrible in the drafts. He went from getting rid of the veteran a year before it was too late to getting rid of any quality player as soon as his contract was up.
Right. Where you go on this one?
Oh, I'll take the Steelers.
Okay. I will take them as well. I think, obviously they played well against Cincy. Probably should have lost that game against Cincy, but overall they thought they played okay. As we lost you on the screen. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, lost you on the screen. Yeah, I'm taking Pitt as well. I think the wing is really bad. I think we'll see the beginning and end of the Patriots here. All right. Next game here we have the Indianapolis Colts heading to Jacksonville face the Jaguars. Indy favorite at 4 points. Over under 47 points. Seeing the crime last year for the Colts when they all their playoff hopes and dreams last year, Carson Wentz got shattered on week 18 rather. You know what? I'm gonna continue that trend. I think there's something about that trend about the Jaguars beating the Colts all the time at home. I'm gonna continue that trend. Give me the Jaguars here to win outright.
Yeah, I'll take Matt Ryan. I'll take the Colts. As far as I understand, Shaquille Leonard's going to be back on defense. That'll be huge. In the fourth quarter, their offense was clicking. So I think it's time. I think the Colts roll.
Okay. Next game here. This is a huge game, actually. This is a perception game for me. The Miami Dolphins heading to Baltimore to face the Ravens. The Ravens right now are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is 44.5. I'm hearing Dolphin fans talk about they want respect. I get that. Test number 1 starts today. Week number 2 against Baltimore Ravens. I'm taking Baltimore in this game.
Yeah, this isn't a test of respect or anything. This doesn't let you know where Miami's at because Baltimore's going to just beat the hell out of them.
So Baltimore win all right, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
All righty. Next game here, which I would suggest would be a mortgage. If I was doing it, it'd be a mortgage bet for me. That is the Atlanta Falcons heading to LA to face the Rams. The Rams are 12-point favorites. The over-under is 47 points. Mortgage bet for me. Rams win this game in blowout fashion. Atlanta had that one feel good moment and had a chance to beat the Saints and didn't do that. So back to earth. Give me the Rams to cover this game and then some.
I'll take the over.
Really?
I'm sorry, but that Rams offense did not look good.
Would you mortgage this one?
If I'm taking the over, why would I even think about mortgaging it? The closest a mortgage bet is the over in the Kansas City game.
Yeah, I like that one a lot, actually. I agree with you on that one. That's the bet of the week, probably. All right, next game, we have the Seattle Seahawks heading to San Francisco to face the Niners. The Niners are 11-point favorites. The over-under, 42.5. We talk about the spreads shifting in the last 48 hours. This game opened with Niners 8.5, minus 8.5. Now it's 11 points.
Yeah, and that makes no sense to me.
Why is that?
You had Geno Smith, who, one, I didn't even think it was possible for him to complete 13 completions in a game. He played straight to open the game last night. So, until further notice, I'll take them against San Fran plus the points.
Denver left 14, no, more than 14, but left 14 points on the field at the goal line twice.
Yeah.
Seattle should have lost the game running away last night. Denver should have won the game running away last night, and they did not do that. It's because of 2 fumbles. San Francisco, bad performance in Chicago in the rain, throwaway tape game. I think the Niners are going to be seething. I think you have the first really, really good Trey Lance game. Give me the Niners to cover this game and then some. You got Seattle on the points?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's a gutsy pick there.
That's really good to me.
Right. No. Yeah, but Jamal Adams probably going to be out for the year or something like that. So we'll see.
He went down in the first quarter. Let's not act like he was there all game making impact moves.
That's what you're saying. All right. Next one here we have Cincinnati Bengals heading to Dallas face the Cowboys. The Bengals are now 9-point favorites. The over-under is 43 points. Obviously, the Cowboys, no Dak Prescott for at least 6 to 8 weeks. Jerry Jones has 4. We'll see how that plays out. What you got in this one, Zach?
Well, first, I want to understand how doctors tell you 6 to 8 weeks. Jerry goes, oh, well, the doctor doing the surgery was happy with the surgery, so I don't even think it's going to be 4 weeks.
Because he's Jerry Jones.
Why would you'll give Ezekiel Elliott anything. You give DeMarcus Lawrence anything. You let Randy Gregory do whatever the hell he wants. And yet you're trying to put a time crunch on your quarterback's thumb healing. This is ridiculous to me. But give me Cincinnati.
Me too. And you know what? And they're probably seething after that loss last week against the against the Steelers. So yeah, I think as well.
Money line on.
Was that
who I told you to take the money line on?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Good value. All right, next game here we have the Houston Texans heading to Denver to face the Broncos. The Broncos are 11-point favorites. The over/under is 45.5. So all of a sudden now we got like a couple of spreads out in double digits now. You know, give me Denver. I think obviously what happened on Monday night, they're gonna be seething themselves. So give me Denver to cover the spread and then some.
Give me Davis Mills.
You're kidding me? Are you serious?
I'm serious.
You look at last week though. I'll tell you that.
Look, you're asking me to cover 11 points with a team that did nothing but shoot itself in the foot. And with the exception of a couple big throws, all Russell Wilson was doing was check down, check down, check down. I thought I was watching Aaron Rodgers.
So you're going to Houston. Okay. Next game here, we have the Arizona Cardinals heading to Vegas to face the Raiders. The Raiders are 6-point favorites. The over/under 51.5. Man, I'm gonna go over in this one.
I like the over, but give me Vegas.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we sure Arizona's as bad as they looked on Sunday? I mean, quality opponent, Chiefs. You know.
Are we sure that LA is as bad as they looked? I mean,
Vegas
got a stacked defense.
Vegas?
Yeah, when Vegas played them week 1.
Right.
I'm sorry. I think the Raiders are better than what they put out there week 1.
No, I agree, but I also think they almost won the game on Sunday. They came back, almost won.
Yeah. So I feel good about them covering against the Cards.
Okay. All right. We got 3 more games here. We have the Chicago Bears heading to Green Bay to face the Packers. The Packers, another big spread here. Packers 11-point favorites, over under 42.5. Call me crazy, Zach. Packers win this game. I'm not worried about that. I kind of like Chicago on the points here, though.
So you like Chicago plus the points against Green Bay, but you're calling me crazy for like in Houston against Denver?
Yeah. I think
Man,
Denver showed
this
some
is going
stuff
to be a
last night.
fun because I'm basically going against you every week.
I know. This is great. So you taking Green Bay to cover?
I'm taking Green Bay to cover.
All right. 2 more games here. We got 2 Monday night games here, in fact. The Tennessee Titans heading to Buffalo face the Bills. The Bills are 11-point favorites. The over-under is 49.5. This is easy for me. Buffalo's going to fucking crush Tennessee. Tennessee's not good. They're not even good. Give me the Bills.
Wow. You're talking about a decent team getting... I'm taking the under, right? What was it, 49.5?
Yep. Taking the under?
Yeah, I'll take the under.
Not that bad, actually. All right. And finally, the second game, biggest game of the week, the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins playing on primetime. One of the 2 games of the year he's playing on primetime. And to Philly to face the Eagles. The Eagles are 2.5-point favorites. The over-under is 50.5. Call me crazy, man. I think Cousins actually does it. Minnesota wins outright. I'll take Minnesota.
Oh.
Plus, you know I can't bet fucking Philly. You don't hate Philly. Come on. You can't either. You're a Commanders fan.
Man, I can't even do the... I want to do the over so bad, but I'm going to take Minnesota.
Oh, wow. I think this is a different Viking team. I feel like this is a different team this year.
I think the fact that there are 2 Monday night games, it'll maybe help alleviate some of the pressure.
Although, and there's a point made on the Whole Lot podcast this week, although if Minnesota is playing good football by the end of the year, they'll be playing some flex games, though, which might be
they have
more.
Have one possible flex game.
We'll see what happens. So, again, you won last week. Hopefully, I think we went the same on maybe on 2 games. I think I'm looking right now.
Yeah, this will be a fun one to listen.
Yeah,
back.
1, 2 games. Yeah, 2 games. That's it. We agreed on. That's it. Oh, 3. The Baltimore game. Oh, 4. Sorry, Minnesota game too. So 4 games out of this 16. So this will be a fun week. So
spectacular there, man.
Mm-hmm.
Having a little trouble counting.
Yeah, so I'm going through the list. I got a lot of notes. I got notes here. Look at that. Notes. Yeah.
Good job.
Before we get going, Florida State bye week last week. Back to ball again, playing Louisville this week. Excited?
I'm excited but nervous. We have had some really bad games against Louisville.
I agree.
Yes, Lamar Jackson was there for 2 of the worst games in the history of Florida State, but
yeah,
it still makes me nervous playing them.
What'd you make of the chaotic weekend in college football last week? Bama almost lost, and then Florida loses, and Wisconsin loses, and A&M loses, and jeez.
Well, I mean, I'm really shocked by A&M losing. I wasn't really shocked by Florida losing.
No, neither was I.
One, yeah, we talked about it. We both thought Utah was way overrated to begin with. And there was just too much hype being thrown on their quarterback. So sudden.
Right.
But the Alabama one, without a doubt, shocked the hell out of me.
Yeah. I thought they'd cover the game, too, on top of that 21 points.
I wanted them to lose. So once you're not covering and it's that close, I want to see the upset.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. Especially when you bet it. Especially when you bet it and it's coming away, well, fuck you guys. I want you to lose it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, all right, man. that's it for picks of the week from you and I. Each was Degenerate week number 2. We'll get back at it next week, and good luck with your picks. Although I need to win, so
Yeah, good luck with your mortgage bet.
yeah, we'll see what happens. It's gonna be an interesting week with our picks. Good job by you.
Later.
Later.